Some songs are written to top the charts. Others are written straight from the heart. I Will Always Love You began as the quiet goodbye of a country star and became one of the most powerful and enduring farewells in music history. If stories like this move you, consider subscribing for more. In 1973, Dolly Parton stood at a crossroads. For 7 years, she had been the featured performer on the Porter Wagoner Show, a popular country music TV program that introduced her to millions. Porter Wagoner had helped launch her career, and their professional relationship had become deeply personal. But Dolly felt it was time to move on, to step into her own spotlight as a solo artist. Leaving wasn't easy. Out of loyalty and gratitude, Dolly didn't just walk away. Instead, she did what she always did best. She wrote a song. One night, she poured her feelings into lyrics that were honest, tender, and final. The next day, she walked into Porter's office, looked him in the eye, and sang him, "I Will Always Love You." It was her way of saying thank you and goodbye. Porter didn't take it well. Just months after that emotional farewell, Dolly Parton released "I Will Always Love You" as the second single from her 1974 album, Jolene. The timing couldn't have been more significant. Her first #1 hit, Jolene, was still climbing the charts, and now she had written another song destined to leave its mark. "I Will Always Love You" quickly reached #1 on the Billboard Hot Country Songs chart. Audiences connected with its vulnerability and grace. It didn't rage or beg, it simply let go. But behind the music, things got messy. After Dolly left the show, Porter Wagoner launched a wave of public criticism against her, calling her ungrateful and untrustworthy. Eventually, he threatened to sue her for $3 million, claiming breach of contract. Despite the tension, Dolly didn't fight back publicly. Instead, she settled, agreeing to pay him $1 million, money she didn't have at the time. It took her years to pay it off. Still, she held no grudge. Years later, they reconciled. When Porter was dying in 2007, Dolly was there, right by his side. The woman who had once walked away with a song also returned with compassion. At the height of her rising fame, Dolly Parton received the kind of offer most songwriters only dream of. Elvis Presley wanted to record "I Will Always Love You." For a moment, it felt like destiny. Elvis had the power to take any song and turn it into a cultural event. Dolly was thrilled and flattered. The king of rock and roll wanted her song. But then came the catch. Elvis's manager, Colonel Tom Parker, had a strict rule. Elvis wouldn't record anything unless he received half the publishing rights. For Dolly, that was a deal breaker. "This song is one of the most important copyrights I'll ever own," she told them. "I can't give away half of it." Turning down Elvis was heartbreaking. She had already told friends and family it was happening. The recording session was even booked. But in the end, she stood her ground. It would become one of the hardest and smartest decisions of her life. "I Will Always Love You" wasn't just a one-time hit. Over the years, it became a kind of musical companion to Dolly's own journey, resurfacing at key moments, each time with new meaning. In 1982, nearly a decade after its original release, Dolly re-recorded the song for the film The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, which she starred in alongside Burt Reynolds. Once again, it shot to #1 on the country charts. She became the first artist in history to take the same song to the top spot twice. But she wasn't done. In 1995, Dolly recorded a third version, this time as a duet with country star Vince Gill. Their emotional performance at the Grand Ole Opry sparked unexpected radio play. The duet peaked at #15 on the charts, earned a Grammy nomination, and won the CMA Award for Vocal Event of the Year. Each version reflected where Dolly was in her life and career, and each one reminded the world of the song's quiet power, a farewell that never faded. In the early 1990s, actor Kevin Costner had a vision. He wanted to turn a long-shelved script called The Bodyguard into a major film, and he knew exactly who should star opposite him: Whitney Houston. At the time, Whitney was a global pop icon, but she had never acted in a film. Costner believed in her so deeply, he delayed production for a full year just to wait for her. The original plan was to use What Becomes of the Broken-Hearted as the film's central love theme, until Billboard magazine revealed that another artist was already climbing the charts with that very song. With time running out, Costner came back to a track he'd loved for years: Dolly Parton's "I Will Always Love You." At first, Whitney's team wasn't convinced. Producer David Foster admitted he didn't think the song would work. But Costner insisted. "This is the song," he told them. He even had a bold idea: have Whitney start the song a cappella. No instruments, just her voice. Foster was skeptical. "You can't start a record like that," he argued. "Radio won't play it." Costner didn't budge. When the final version was submitted, Clive Davis, head of Arista Records, had to choose between Foster's polished arrangement and the raw, haunting demo with the a cappella intro. He went with the demo. It was the right call. Released alongside The Bodyguard in 1992, "I Will Always Love You" became a global sensation. The first time Dolly Parton heard Whitney Houston's version of "I Will Always Love You" on the radio, she was driving from her Nashville office to her home. At first, she didn't even recognize it. "I heard that a cappella opening, 'If I Should Stay,' and I thought, wait a minute," she later recalled. "Then the music came in, and when Whitney hit that chorus, I honestly thought I was going to have a heart attack. It was overwhelming, emotional, bigger than anything she could have imagined for a song she had written alone, late at night, as a private farewell." In the years that followed, Whitney's version of the song became so iconic that many fans didn't even know it was originally written by Dolly. But Dolly never minded. In fact, she joked about it often. "People say, 'That's Whitney's song,' and I say, 'That's fine, just send the check to me,'" she laughed. And the checks did come. In the 1990s alone, Dolly earned an estimated $6 to $10 million in royalties from Whitney's recording. She used the money to buy back her own publishing rights and fund charitable projects close to her heart. It was a full-circle moment. The song that helped her leave one chapter behind had now opened doors she never dreamed of. On February 11, 2012, the world was stunned by the news that Whitney Houston had passed away. That very night, fans around the globe turned back to the song that had come to define her voice: "I Will Always Love You." At the Grammy Awards the following evening, Jennifer Hudson performed a stripped-down tribute version. The audience sat in near silence as she sang, overwhelmed by grief and memory. Once again, the song became a farewell, this time from the world to Whitney. In the weeks that followed, the track re-entered the Billboard charts and climbed back into the top 10, almost 20 years after its original release. It wasn't just a hit anymore. It was history. Strangely, its popularity sparked more than just emotion. In 1993, in the UK, the song's fame led to 2 actual legal cases. One woman was jailed for refusing to stop blasting Whitney's version on repeat. Another hurled her neighbor's stereo out of a 4th-floor window in frustration. The judge ordered the neighbor's family to move. Years later, even comedians found emotional depth in the song. In 2017, actor Will Ferrell closed his commencement speech at the University of Southern California with a line to the graduating class: "If you ever feel alone, picture me singing this gently into your ear." And then, in front of thousands, he sang, "I Will Always Love You." From a heartfelt goodbye between 2 artists to a global anthem of love and loss, "I Will Always Love You" has journeyed through decades, voices, and emotions. Written in a single night, this song carried Dolly Parton through pivotal moments of her life. From parting ways with a mentor, to reclaiming her independence, to witnessing the soaring legacy of Whitney Houston's unforgettable rendition. Its power lies not only in the soaring notes or timeless lyrics, but in its ability to connect with people across generations and genres. Whether whispered softly or belted out in a stadium, it's a farewell that feels like forever. And even now, nearly 50 years later, the song remains a reminder that some goodbyes aren't endings, they're lasting expressions of love. Thank you for joining me on this journey behind the track. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the songs that shaped our lives.